Awesome. Appreciate everybody joining in this afternoon. We'll go ahead and jump into BluonSearch and Bluon in general, what it has to offer, how you guys can use it the best. Um, and feel free to speak up, throw in the chat. I'll be kind of watching and monitoring that, and I'll answer any questions through there. Make it easy. And you know, what we're gonna go through again is BluonSearch, and what that is a large cross-reference database for HVAC units and parts. And the the database is super expansive. It's residential and commercial. It covers every single brand, over 200 of them, about 20 million model numbers, about 7 million parts, and about 60 million cross-reference points. So it is a very, very large database that you have access to now that can help you serve your customers better in regards to parts that you either sell or can get and be able to give you all the information that you need to help service those customers quicker. So we'll go ahead and jump in. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Y'all should be able to see that now. And what you're looking at is BluonSearch. I'll go out of this and we'll walk through just a standard kind of login and how it works. So it's web-based, so you can go in, it's going to be www.bluonlive.com. It's going to take you to this home page here where you can log in. So Steve has given you all the logins there. You should have them. If you don't, let us know. We'll get those for you. That's no problem. And you will use that login to log in for your specific branch. Um, Once you log in, this is going to be the home screen there. And you've got search models and parts list, then you have parts. So there is two different ways to search the database, one by model number and then the other by part number. So depending on what your customers are calling in, walking in, emailing you for, right, you have two different ways to kind of search it up. So I can go in, let's just say I've got a customer that's working on a GSZ, and I can go in, find that specific unit, and maybe it's a 14. So I dig a little bit deeper and I find, hey, they're working on a Goodman. So let me go down to the Goodman model. This one's a little long, and then we got it right here. So I can click on that, and what it's going to do is it's going to pull up that specific unit, give you some key specs for it. It is going to show you all of the manuals and literature. So you can see there's a lot in here, parts manuals, IOM, wiring diagram, right? So you have all of that pulled out and easy to see right there to help support your customers. You can actually print and download this to give to your customers as well. So if they're needing that info, you've got it right there to help them out. So pretty self-explanatory on the manual side of things. Again, all of your units are going to have those at the bare minimum, and most of them are going to have the parts list. So going down to the parts list, you'll see all the parts listed out down to the nuts and bolts of that unit. And you can actually go in and see a little bit further. So let's just say I've got a customer calling in and they need a condenser motor for this unit. So now I have access to see the Goodman OEM part there. I can see the specs on that motor. And then I can also see all of the replacement parts for it. So this is both OEM to OEM and OEM to aftermarket. So you'll see in here, Daikin, Goodman, Amana. You'll also see other parts like GE, the aftermarket. You can see AO Smith, Century. You've got, I think there was Mars up top there. So being able to go in and see all that information, right, helps you have more shots on goal to sell either something on the shelf that you may have, maybe it's the Mars part, Century, whatever it may be, or being able to service that customer and say, hey, this is what you need. Let them know, or hey, you're sourcing it in, it's going to be a couple days. Just so many different options, right, that you guys have now with all of this data to tell you, hey, this is exactly what crosses over for that unit. You can do that again and again with multiple different brands. So let's just say I've got a 126A someone's calling in about. That's a Carrier Bryant unit. I can go in there, find that same exact aspect of here's all the manuals, wiring diagram, IOM, product data, and then be able to see all the parts list. So, hey, again, maybe they're looking for a motor. Obviously, capacitors are a dime a dozen, but now you've got the specs listed out for that. Hard start kit. You've got compressors, right? If they're going to replace a compressor, hey, now you have that Copeland compressor. You've got all the specs listed out. You've got all of the replacement parts listed in there. You're going to see a lot of super procedures for compressors just in general, not so much on the motor side of things sometimes, but nonetheless, one thing that you can see here is the replacement score. So think about that as like a good, better, best model, right? So, hey, anything that's an OEM super procedure, exact replacement, OEM replacement is going to be a 3 out of 3. Anything that is a spec-based match, which compressors aren't going to be. So kind of bad example there, but nonetheless, if I go into this condenser motor, you're going to see spec-based matches, which is those Mars parts, and kind of see how that flows through of all the different replacement scores on there. We even go, like I said, on the commercial side of things. So when I go in, type that in, you'll see that within there. Same thing, manuals, all the parts listed out. So we cover kind of all bases there, regardless of what your contractors and customers are asking for. Any questions overall so far? Feel free to throw it in the chat. I'll be looking at that here.
Yeah, what the fuck am I looking at?
Who just said that?
A large cross-reference database that you have access to. So, but any others? Any other questions there?
No.
Cool. So, there is another way to search, like I said, the parts. So if a customer is walking in with a part number or part in hand, whatever it may be, you are able to type in that part number. So you can type in 76K and it will pop up with anything that has 76K in it. I do recommend, even on the model side of things and on the part side of things, to type in the model and part number. Reason I say that is because sometimes, there's dashes, there's different digits, whatever it may be, that can really throw it off. So if you're just throwing in a huge model number or a large part number, that's where some issues can come in and arise. So definitely just kind of type in a couple, see what pops up, and kind of dive in from there. But again, same thing on the part side of things. So I can go into this Lennox blower motor, for instance. Here's the Lennox OEM part. Here's the specs listed out. And here's all of the replacement parts. So again, just kind of a different way to search if your customers are coming with a part number. We did have a question in here from Ryan. Is A.O. Smith in there? I didn't see the ENS 40 or GCRL 40. Let me type those in just to verify there. ENS, not seeing that. GCRL 140, or no, that's at 40. Yeah, so not seeing those in there. So really good point. If you all are finding something that's not in there, right, doesn't mean that we don't have the information, doesn't mean that we can't get it. just let us know through the feedback button on the top right-hand side. So top right-hand side, below account, you're going to have a feedback button. It's going to take you to a link. You can see kind of what I've done previously. And I put a message in there, right? If you have anything like to attach or a screenshot or a file, definitely send that over to us. So yeah, and then Gina, yeah, good point. You know, AO Smith Plumbing. We will have some like we'll have boilers and furnaces and everything like that. But we will also have tankless water heaters. Very small subset. I wouldn't count on us as the go-to for that kind of stuff, but anything HVAC related, definitely try us first for sure.
Jeremy, can you explain to them how it's been expanded over, a short period of time over the last couple of years as well?
Yeah, definitely. So, when we first started out about 3 or 4 years ago, we had a subset of data, right, that we had. And what we did was we acquired a company that was all about HVAC parts, and they went back 30, 40 years in all the data that they had. So when we acquired them, we married the two databases together, bolstered them up, built it into a platform that's web-based, that's easy to kind of work through. And that expanded big time, right? Over the last couple of years, we have expanded even more. So we weren't even in, the kind of the hydronics, boilers aspect of it, and we rolled into that. And we're continuing just to kind of roll into everything. But like I said before, that feedback button is definitely something to use because we will continue to expand out based on the feedback that is provided from you all. So awesome. The next thing I want to show you all is Master Mechanic. So Master Mechanic is an AI chatbot that Bluon developed. The way that we developed it was we fielded over 150,000 tech support calls over the last 4.5 years for the industry at large. And what we did was we transcribed all those calls and layered those in as the backbone of information for Master Mechanic to pull from. And it's knowledgeable in the HVAC space big time. It's like ChatGPT built for HVAC is the way to think about it. It'll ask you, hey, what are you working on today? It was built more for the field, right? Like as a tech support line for them, but just built in here. But it's really good at the counter for different things too, right? If you have customers that are walking in, calling in for different things, and maybe it's above your head, or hey, maybe you don't know how to answer, whatever it may be, boom, you can throw it in there and be able to help support that customer even more. So you can throw in there like, hey, I'm working on a residential mini split. It's not cooling. It's going to ask you anything else to tell them, right? So there's so many different ways to kind of be able to support your customers there. So commercial package unit, hey, all these certain issues, right? You can kind of almost walk them through it, help them out. I'm just going to throw one simple one in for you just to show you how it works. But let's just say, what is the difference between R410A and R454? This has been a big topic of conversation, I'm sure, right? With the 454 shortage. So it will go through and kind of lay out all the differences there for you. And you can ask it anything under the sun. The odds are endless with it. So again, more or less used as a troubleshooting tool for the techs and the contractors out in the field, but super useful if you've got questions of your own in-house too. Bob, I saw your message here. So will your system locate the product who has it in stock? It will not. It is a search database only. And what Steve was talking about early on is what we're doing in the next phase of this is being able to tie all of that cross-reference data to the inventory that you have, right? So I'll show that real quick too, just so you have a kind of an understanding of how it'll work. So we can put directly on your website a way for your technicians and contractors to actually search your inventory with our database. So you'll see in here, find replacement parts. Just think about this as the Portland Group's web page, right? Website, e-commerce site. So they can go in and be able to search up every model under the sun just the same, but it will only show up anything that you all have a SKU for. So I can go in, be able to see all of those units, be able to find the one I'm looking for, and be able to go in and see those parts available. So now, as a technician or contractor, they're able to purchase directly on your e-commerce site for any brand. So I can go in, I can look at that condenser motor. Hey, maybe I'm not a Goodman dealer, right? Maybe let's just say this is a Mars part, right? That you guys have in stock. And take that, and it would take them directly to your part page to be able to check out. So that's the next step in the process here. But what that allows to do is really create a true e-commerce where they can shop with you regardless of brand. I know that was a lot. Is there any other questions from anybody? Anything that I can cover? Awesome. Cool. Well, that's pretty much all I've got for you guys. Again,
Jeremy, I think Keith just asked a question.
oh, okay. How often does it update? I was just searching for a first co. Yep. So we're constantly updating it. Pretty much every single day, we've got a full database team. So is that a newer unit, Keith? Is that like, okay, it's not. All right, great. Well, biggest thing you can do, and I'll do it for you right now just to kind of show that off in real time. So I'll put all the information in and I'll take that info there. I won't put any file in there, but that's all you have to do, right? Throw that in there and that will actually go directly to our team where they will go and source that information and get it added in. So we build the database out based off of feedback that is being provided from the folks that are using it. So good question.
If you put it in, will they notify you that it's been found?
Yes, they will reach back out to you. Yep. Yeah, that's why putting in your email is definitely a good thing to do. Even if we have the information too, and it's not layered in the database, our database team will send it over to you via email as well. So we try and get it to you as quickly as possible. Awesome. Any other questions from anybody? Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording.